Welcome back. I'm joined now by today's Piers Back, Talk TV's international editor Isabel Oakeshott and author Bonnie Greer and associate editor of The Spectator and author Douglas Murray, who I guess... Are you in New York, Douglas?
I am indeed.
So look, from your lofty scenario over there in New York, looking back at your mother country here, a lot of things that have been bubbling here, big. And I wouldn't mind just getting your take on that from New York. First of all, I don't know if you heard that interview just now with Mick Lynch about the strikes coming next week, but it does feel like a real throwback, this, to the 70s and 80s. You know, the old, militant union bosses holding the country to ransom. I just can't help feeling it's so ill-timed to be doing this right now.
I couldn't agree more. I listened to the interview with great interest because, like everybody else in Britain, I have had an experience plenty of times in my life of what happens when the rail unions go on strike. And, you know, what it means is that everybody trying to get into their place of work has the most miserable time imaginable. I've done it myself countless numbers of times when the unions strike. You end up having to stand for hours at a bus stop to get onto a massively overcrowded bus and travel for hours to do a journey that would normally take you maybe half an hour. And so every time this happens, public sentiment against the unions grows. I can assure you, and many of your viewers will appreciate this, nobody stands under somebody else's armpit on a massively overcrowded bus for hours and thinks happily about the rail unions. Nobody thinks, yeah, those guys should get a way above inflation pay rise. Nobody thinks that.
Well, that's
Nobody
the
thinks
problem.
that the rail
Bonnie
bosses
Greer is raising her hand, actually.
I stand under people's armpits, and I don't have a problem with that. I think a part of a civilized society...
Well, you're an unusual person.
Well, it's true, and I used to live in New York, too, so I can say that. Part of civilized society is that workers should be able to withhold their labor, and we need organized labor. I have no problems with this at all, even though it is hurting people. I admit that. It is hurting people.
No problems with it, really?
No, I really don't.
They want an 11% pay rise.
They probably deserve it.
They don't deserve it.
Why don't they deserve it?
Why would a train driver who may be earning £54,000 or more a year right now in this economic climate deserve an 11% pay rise?
I mean,
nurses can barely get 1%.
Well, I can't go into a technical thing about a train driver. But that's a skilled job.
54 grand.
That's a skilled
and in fact,
job.
he admitted they were more.
Well, that's an important job. I don't mind them getting a lot of money.
It's not saving lives, it's driving a train.
But he's also...
You get in, you sit there, you press a button,
but he's not driving
drive.
an empty... No, he's not just pressing a button.
Pretty much.
And he's not
Actually, pretty much is what they do.
I don't know anything about driving a train. All I'm saying is...
How do you know they deserve an 11% pay rise?
I'm going to give them the 11% pay rise because they're workers, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, that's ridiculous, attitude.
It's not a ridiculous...
All right, then any worker can ask for anything, and you, Bonnie Greer, just go, yeah, you can have it. Isabel.
I would, actually.
Isabel. Douglas, you want to come back on that?
I would, actually.
I just wanted to point out, Bonnie said that it's a skilled job. She then said it's an important job. It is an important job. It's not a skilled job, and there's one way to tell that, Bonnie. You or I could become a train driver if we trained. But you or I could not just become a brain surgeon tomorrow, could we?
Right.
What's that got to do with being a train driver?
Well, the point being, it's not that skilled a work.
Oh, no, we're going to compare brain surgeon to a train driver. That's not equal, is it?
But what I would compare is brain surgeons to this, and anyone working in the health service.
But you can't put a brain surgeon next to a driver.
It's so unskilled that, guess what? We can actually get driverless trains, and that is what we should be looking to do. This is a long-term investment. There's no quick fix here, but these guys are basically talking themselves out of a job. Their pay packages are pretty generous. I've looked at the fine print. There have been various good newspaper exposés of that in recent days. I mean, many people in this country would absolutely love those jobs. And frankly, if I were in charge, I would sack a lot of them.
That's not how you measure anything.
In.
These people are driving trains. I have no problem with giving people who are driving trains what they want. No problem.
That's a ridiculous attitude, Bonnie.
You
can't just say you can have whatever you want.
Look, I am interested in safety. I'm interested in if workers need to have a pay rise in this climate. I don't know when they last had one, Piers. I don't know when they last had one.
I don't think the priority right now... I have nothing against train drivers, by the way. I don't get the train that often. When I do, it's an OK experience. It used to be much more enjoyable driving on the train. It's not enjoyable anymore. They run late. They have poor records now on
They're all
service.
privately owned, aren't they?
Well, I just think it's not an
already
experience it
charge
used to
through the
be.
nose.
It's not that enjoyable.
Well,
Packing people in sardines on smaller carriages.
It's not their problem. It's not their fault.
Bonnie, your argument just seems to be because they want a pay rise, they should get a pay rise.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to apply that to every single worker in this country? And if so,
And they can have whatever
how
they
on
want,
earth is
can
it
they?
going to be paid for?
You can all have whatever
I
you
don't get
want.
it.
Let's
Who's
bankrupt the country.
going to pay for the pay rises? Is it going to be millions of passengers?
So what are you saying exactly? That we
I'm
should...
saying that your argument is utterly absurd, that they should have a pay rise because they want it, and you think that they're
And they
clever.
should have whatever they want.
I think that the basic premise of this is I'm for workers. I guess that's
Of
what
course,
I'm saying.
we're all
Wait a
for
minute, hang on.
workers. I'm for workers.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Now, we want to sit around and talk about should they get 12%, should they get 13%? I don't know.
I'm for workers, but Bonnie,
if
I'm not...
if a worker goes out,
I get
that's
it.
all that they have.
Look, I'm
is
for
withhold
workers,
their
but I'm
labor.
not for a bankrupt country, which is where your philosophy, I'm afraid, would take us.